feel like I'm about to return serve in racquetball. Actually, I'm sorry. Beg your indulgence for 1 second.
Interesting.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Yes, that's exactly right. And I don't think I was the only one. I'm just the only one who had to be so obvious about it. All right. Thank you. All right, I have a confession to make. Some days, the thought of doing anything related to social media makes me feel like this. This is the most unflattering picture I think that exists of me, and only a wife could take a picture like this of my head shoved in the couch cushions. The unintentional irony of the Flash t-shirt is pretty awesome too. If you feel like your job is social media and you feel like you're doing it, I would say that we are thinking about it wrong, and I am thinking about it wrong when I think about it that way. Our job as social media practitioners in any case is to express passion. And so let me tell you a story about that. I was interviewed for Melanie Plenda's piece in Business New Hampshire magazine, and the first question she asked was, are there some businesses that should not be on social media? And I'm thinking, oh, this is nice, easy hanging curveball. I am just gonna swat this thing. So I start talking about, oh, well, considering the market penetration of Facebook and how pretty much everybody has a significant share of their target market on there, it's pretty much a given that you've got to be on some sort of social media channel. And she says, dun dun dun, what about funeral homes? And my brain goes, because I have been thinking about funeral homes on and off for the last 2 months. And this sort of thing happens all the time in our business. This is the kind of quantum serendipity that Lonnie is talking about. So I'm actually ready for this question, and I say, of course they should. They have tons of things to talk about. They could be talking about green burials. They could be talking about estate planning, funeral insurance, getting a house sitter so your home doesn't get burgled while you're at the funeral service. Basically, I lay out a whole content calendar right on the spot. This is what passion looks like. So I started thinking about it a little bit more after the interview. And I started thinking about, well, what is this passion really about? I mean, funeral home people have to have passion for what they do. What is it about us and who we are, and how is social media affecting this expression of passion? Really? All right, so if you are in a certain profession, and you intended to be in that profession at some point in the past, then you must have followed at least a slice of your passion to be there. It may not be the whole part of, the whole pie, right? But it is at least a part of your passion. When you do social media, you get told that it's about best practices and transparency and policy and authenticity and blah, 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 right? And this is important, but there's a vital piece that's missing. Passion, right? Actually caring about what you're doing and why you're doing it. So it is this, really, it is this idea, the fusion of passion and action, that fuels what I'm talking about when I say the end of social media as we know it. Once upon a time, we knew a separation between our personal selves and our professional selves. Generally and generationally speaking, some of us do social media, but we don't live it. But there's a generation growing up right now that doesn't know this distinction at all. They say, I don't use social media, I am part of social media. People don't exist separately from it, it's part of their identity. They, like us, are social by nature, and the tools have finally caught up to us. But the generation gap is sort of a shorthand way of getting at a larger picture of identity, which is a philosophical battle that's gone on for millennia. Is it being, is that the important thing, or is it doing, or, what I would like to propose, a more powerful idea, that they flow together, and that passion, Sinatra, is the key to unlocking that flow. So I'm going to ask you to grab a piece of paper, and if you don't have paper handy, then use a back of a comment card. Grab a pen and piece of paper. I'm going to ask you, in the context of your work, what do you love to do? You're going to have slightly more than 20 seconds to answer that question. Write it down. What do you love to do?
Write it down.
If you have a gut instinct for that answer, please write it down. Okay, time's up. Ah, that goes fast, doesn't it? See? If there's a gap between what you just wrote and what you do on a daily basis, I challenge you today to bridge that gap. Ask yourself, what one action can I take today to bridge that gap? Write it down, doesn't have to be necessarily right now. Write it down and take that action. Doobie-doobie-doo, right? All right, so you may be saying, this is great, this is kind of fluffy, to some of the stuff, whether it's share the love, connect with your passion, quantum serendipity, but we have real work to do. We have to get down to business, right? Everybody has that reaction. Well, I'm going to share with you something. These concepts here that you're looking at, all these fun, nice little words, these are words that are being looked at by search engine optimization experts right now in the midst of Google patent application filings that were just approved. Google right now is trying to quantify these concepts as it relates to the next level of their search engine, semantic search. Passion is becoming the new page one of search. That's my tweetable moment. Passion is the new page one of search. Thank you. There are things that we all know that can't be measured and yet are so incredibly important. Right to left, that's Lynn Tilton, who bought the Millen Gorham. Richard Branson, Tony Hsieh of Zappos, sold to Amazon for a cool $1 billion. Nice. All of these things are tremendously important to us, and we need to reconnect with them. And if you find yourself having problems connecting with your passion, please step outside, get a breath of fresh air, and remember what it is that you wrote down here today. Only you can connect with your passion, because then it's not about just doing social media anymore. It's about being who you are, living what you believe, having a compass that guides you to the right allies and partners and clients and collaborators. You are social, and the tools have finally caught up to you. Thank you.
That was perfect. Thank you so much. Can I invite